Hey, it's Andrea. I don't even know how many hours I just spent trying to get this done, but um, it's a story about persistence. It's also a story, I think, about my 39.5. I have the gate 39.5, which, if you're not into human design, you won't make any sense. But I basically call it my step around the shit gate. And the gist of the keynote to it is that I don't even see obstacles, so I don't even have to go around the obstacles. I just don't even see them. I bypass them completely, and I can see where that served me really well today, because so here's what happened. My daughter, she's going to register for college for the fall, well, for the summer really, and she's been out of school for a year, so she missed a year, partly due to COVID, partly due to we didn't know what was next step, whatever. Point is that Florida, we have an exemption, a vaccine exemption for all three of the kids probably, but the two little ones for sure. And apparently at 18, the health department decided that that's the moment of they're an adult, and they're aging out of the school system, which is what it's for, and therefore that record is no longer needed. Therefore, all of the systems will not print after 18 this particular document. Okay. Normally, it's kept in their school file, and it goes from school to school and follows them. Well, the school requires you to give them the original copy, the one that I got for her in 2007. It apparently landed at one of the last two schools that she attended. She attended a couple different charter schools and a couple different regular schools. We unschooled a couple years, hodgepodge lodge. She ended up going to Santa Fe, the community college, for the last 2 years of her high school, got some college credits. I mean, it's just been all over the place because we totally customized it for her, right? So meanwhile, this file that the county school board is supposed to keep track of, not only did they lose the copy of this original document that she needs to register for college in the fall, in the summer, they lost the entire file. They don't know where her file is at all. So we're talking about two systems: the health department system, the health system of Florida, not just, so she could have gone to a different county and should be able to get this information out of the computer, and the local school board system of keeping this paper record. Whoever told them that they had to have the original is a dork, but this is about outdated systems and things just not matching up and whatever. Anyway, so what came to understand is that you can't get the old record. The original record is lost. The old record can't be printed, and she can't register for school without it. And the people who are here at the health department, so I went straight to the health department here to get it, just go get the original. They said it's not possible. Went through 5 people to get what I ended up with. We'll see if it actually ends up working for her on the other end. But basically, the Florida State University told her that she absolutely had to have the original records from her school in order to have this paperwork be resolved. Okay, so Andrea goes to the health department and says, I need this record, and they had me I'd spoken to somebody on the phone yesterday who said that I needed a note from her because she was turned 19 in January. So 3 weeks ago, this wouldn't have even been an issue. They would have been able to print a thing. I would have been able to request the record without her signing off on it. But anyway, so I got a note from her. I told her, write a note, put your ID on it, and take a picture and send it to me. I printed that and took it with me. It was fine. That worked out really well. And the amount of resistance I ran into, because this wasn't a typical situation for them, was hilarious. And I didn't lose my cool, but I did use my projectorness and this 39.5 piece, and probably my defined solar plexus helped quite a bit, because I had to sit there in their uncomfortableness 5 times, right? And also stand my ground, because I was like, this is ridiculous. It's your record. I'm sorry that other people lost it. I was never given control of it, so you have to figure it out. Ultimately, they found that they just nobody could access the screen to print the thing, because they've put some kind of fail-safe in the system that when people turn 18, it's not required, it's not necessary for that school system that it was built for, so they might as well just turn it off, right? Well, no, it's not true. So I ended up with, basically, can I see them, somebody who can type out a letter that on the letterhead that says, a couple sentences that this thing existed, because it's obvious that it did. It's on her transcript, it's on her, it's in their system. They can see that it exists. They just can't see the actual record and have it be, printed off. It's so funny. I mean, it's just so funny, the stuff that gets in people's way. So the last person turned out to be sort of a manager type nurse in the immunization section, and she basically wanted me to be contrite and apologetic that I was inconveniencing her. She's certain that it's not going to work, that it's not going to be the thing that needs to be happening. And I'm like, there isn't any other solution though. So if you could find a way to print, just write a couple sentences on a letterhead that the thing exists, that it was filed in 2007 and it's existed ever since then. And if you could do that and then sign it, that would be great. And I will leave, and basically I'll get out of your hair. So she grumbled around. She said, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this special just for you. I'm like, I understand. I'm really sorry that your computer system won't let you print this off anymore, but it's what she needs, and it exists, and it's your record. So I'd like to have some kind of reference that it existed, if that's possible. And she went, and typed one sentence, to whom it may concern, this thing existed as of 2007, and signed off as the official registered nurse of the Alachua County Health Department, blah, 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 whatever. I can't imagine why, when she takes that into the office at the other end, why it wouldn't work. But if it doesn't, my next step is there's still no obstacle. I mean, I'm like, well, there's a solution, because stupid, right? And so my next thought is, the only other thing that would make connect is to have the person or the office or the county school board records people sign off that it did exist, because it's on their transcript, and that they don't even have to acknowledge that it existed. They just have to acknowledge that they lost her file completely, which will not go over well, I'm sure. But I will have somebody's name on a piece of paper with that information if it needs to be done. And this is all so that it's just ridiculous. And it's some new what did they call it? The paper from FSU says new, I don't know, something along the lines of things that you have to do to have it all in place, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay, I'll fix this. Because there's no obstacle. There's no way that people whose records are supposed to be in place, because they're the ones who wanted them to be in place, aren't in place, and I'm going to get inconvenienced for it? I don't think so. Anyway, that's my story. It goes with persistence. There's a quote on my wall from the other day, something along the lines of, the master has failed at many more times than the novice has even tried, or something like that. And this is actually kind of an example of that for me. I am queen of telling institutions about how their systems suck, and finding those finding those glitches, finding those places where they're not serving the people. I'm always the oddball, finding things that are broken. So this is my third line too, finding things that don't work. And I didn't get annoyed at people. I just kept repeating myself. And the next to last woman, she was kind of busy. She was like the actual nurse giving new COVID vaccines and blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of busy. And I was like, I just need the printout. And she's like, it's not going to do any good. And I'm like, I just need the printout. And she, I positioned myself where I could see through the glass to her, where she was supposed to be focusing on it. So I could keep projector eyeballing her, and just not angry, just literally with expectation of delivery or some kind of resolution. So anyway, that's what I did today. Maybe this is interesting to somebody, and I figured I'd leverage the idea because this is what happens all the time. Not all the time anymore. I long ago cut ties with any kind of bureaucracy that I could, and this is the last bit I get to do for Morgan, so that's good. Yeah, there you go. That's what I got.